Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. I'm your teacher Naveed Anjum Naveed with another lesson of grammar. In this lesson, we'll be learning reflexive and emphatic pronouns. So first, reflexive pronoun. It's also known as reflective pronoun. When the subject of a sentence performs an action on itself, the pronoun used as the object of verb is called reflexive or reflective pronoun, as the action reflects back on the subject. They can also function as object of preposition because even in such cases, the action is directed toward the subject itself. Let's have examples. The soldier shot himself. What's the subject of this sentence? Soldier. What did he do? Shot. Whom did he shoot? Himself. So shot is the verb and himself the object of verb. The subject and the object is the same person. The subject has performed an action on itself. So himself is reflexive pronoun. The snake bit itself. Snake is the subject, bit verb, itself the object of this verb. The subject has performed an action on itself. So itself is reflexive pronoun. Most girls admire themselves. Girls and themselves are the same persons. Girls, the subject, admire, verb, themselves, the object of verb. The subject and the object is the same person and the subject is performing an action on itself. So themselves, reflexive pronoun. She made tea for herself. This example is slightly different. She is the subject, made is the verb, but herself is not the object of verb made. Because she didn't make herself, she made tea. Herself is the object of preposition for. Yet we'll call it reflexive pronoun because even in this case, the action of making tea is somehow directed toward the subject itself. These reflexive or reflective pronouns have got two indications. One is textual indication and the other one is functional indication. The textual indication is that they are always suffixed with self, himself, herself, itself, myself. The functional indication is that they always function as objects, objects of verbs or objects of prepositions. They are always in objective case. So keeping these 2 points in mind will help us correctly identify reflexive or reflective pronouns. Reflexive pronoun is always taught in combination with emphatic pronoun, as there are great chances of confusion because of the textual similarity between emphatic pronoun and reflexive pronoun. Emphatic pronoun is also suffixed with self. First, we'll define emphatic pronoun. Emphatic pronouns are used to emphasize the fact that the action has been performed by the subject itself and not by somebody else. The subject and object of verb in such sentences are not the same person or thing. In fact, emphatic pronouns are not objects at all. They are neither the objects of verbs nor of prepositions. They are not in objective case. And even when we remove an emphatic pronoun from a sentence, the sentence still remains meaningful. Let's take a look at the examples. The principal cleaned his room himself. What's the subject of this sentence? Principal. What did he do? Cleaned. So cleaned is the verb. What did he clean? Of course, we are not suggesting that the principal cleaned himself. We do believe that he does so whenever there is a need to do so. But in this sentence, we are saying that the principal cleaned his room. Principal is the subject, cleaned is the verb, and room is the object of verb cleaned. What's this himself doing here? It can't be the object of a preposition either because there is no preposition. It's simply emphasizing the fact that the principal himself cleaned his room and nobody else did it. So it's emphatic pronoun. And even when we remove this pronoun from this sentence, the sentence will still remain meaningful. The principal cleaned his room. The captain himself loaded the guns. This pronoun himself is differently positioned in this sentence. Whenever a pronoun suffixed with self comes just after the subject of a sentence, consider it an emphatic pronoun because a reflexive pronoun is either the object of a verb or that of a preposition, and objects generally don't appear in this position. So this could also be an indication. A pronoun suffixed with self comes immediately after the subject of a sentence, emphatic pronoun. Let's analyze the sentence itself. Captain is the subject. What did he do? Loaded. What did he load? Guns. So loaded is the verb. Guns is the object of verb. Himself can't be the object of this verb, and himself is not the object of a preposition either because there is no preposition. So this pronoun is simply emphasizing the fact that the captain himself loaded the guns, nobody else did. So it's emphatic pronoun. She cooked the meat herself. What's the subject of this sentence? She. What did she do? Cooked. What did she cook? Of course, she didn't cook herself. Had she done so, the dish would have been much tastier. But she cooked the meat, not herself. So she is the subject, cooked verb, meat object. What's herself? It's not the object of verb. It can't be the object of a preposition because there is no preposition in this sentence. It's also emphasizing the fact that she herself cooked the meat and nobody else did. This is the difference between emphatic pronouns and reflexive pronouns. You cannot take away the reflexive pronouns from the sentences and still leave the sentences meaningful because they are in the roles of objects, and objects are more vital, they are more important for sentences. Without objects, the sentences will become incomplete. Without an emphatic pronoun, the sentence will still sound complete. Emphatic pronouns and reflexive pronouns, they are textually similar. Both of them are suffixed with self, but their roles are different. An emphatic pronoun is not in objective case. A reflexive pronoun is always in objective case. Today's topic is over. We are not going to have an activity even today because we have decided that we'll have an activity once the topic of pronoun is complete. So enough for today. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.